This video will cover best practices for preventing damage to underground utilities. Please note that local laws and customer requirements may vary. The first and most important part of damage prevention is the pre-planning process. Here are 3 things that must occur before we even mobilize for the job. First, call 811 at least 48 hours in advance. Second, obtain a copy of all prints and maps. And third, obtain a copy of the locate ticket. Once you arrive on the job site, check your prints to get familiar with the utilities that are supposed to be in the area. Also check your locate ticket to make sure it's accurate and that it has not expired. Next, walk the job site and check all utility marks. Make sure to use your locating devices to confirm the marks of all gas lines. If any utility appears mismarked or unmarked, do not proceed. Call 811 and ask them to return to the job site. After a plan is established and before you begin excavating, hold your daily planning huddle to discuss the details. After all utilities are verified and the work is planned, work can begin. The first thing we want to mention is that it's common practice for contractors to dig up gas lines that they previously installed because they know the exact depth and layout. So in these cases, it is acceptable to proceed with caution. However, when excavating pipe that we did not install, our powered equipment must stay outside of the no-dig zone, which is typically 18 to 30 inches away from the pipe, depending on state requirements. It is also acceptable to use powered equipment to remove hard surface. However, once we remove the hard surface and reach the edge of the no-dig zone, we must begin safely exposing the utility. This can be done with shovels or vacuum excavation methods. When using a shovel or digging tool, make sure the blade is parallel to the utility in order to minimize the possibility of cutting the line. This image shows one shovel that is not correct and one spade that is correct. Also, make sure to get a good visual confirmation of the utility before proceeding. There could be multiple lines in the same area. You could accidentally spot an abandoned line that is near the actual line, or the line may change depths within a short distance. Once the line is spotted, place a shovel beside it to serve as a visual marker for the operator. At this point, operators may proceed with caution. However, they must use a spotter during the excavation process to ensure adequate visual contact with the utility. We recently taped a crew that was relocating a gas main in downtown Indianapolis in order to demonstrate how this process should work. To save time and effort, this crew was able to use a vac rig to dig down and spot all nearby utilities before they began to dig. This included not only the gas main, but also the electrical line that they were paralleling. After getting visual confirmation and actual measurements of the utilities, this crew could have used their powered equipment to excavate after removing the hard surface, but for the sake of our video, they went ahead and hand spotted the utilities. So they began their work by digging their trench until it was about 24 inches away from the first utility they had to cross, which was a fiber cable. Then they repositioned the backhoe and removed the hard surface. Once the hard surface was removed, they used a shovel and a spade to spot the fiber and gas lines. After getting good visuals on each utility, they placed their shovels beside each line and let the operator begin to excavate. Notice that the backhoe in this picture is positioned so that the machine is digging with the lines and not across them. This also minimizes the potential for utility damage. Another thing to note is that this crew ran into some concrete while digging. Instead of ripping it out, they decided to hand dig around it in order to search for an unmarked utility. Although they never found one, they decided to install our pipe underneath it just in case a utility was inside the concrete. This is good and careful decision making that must be used by all of our foremen daily. Once they got close to the utilities, They stopped using their heavy equipment and started using their shovels again to finish cleaning out around the lines. During this visit, we spoke with the foreman, who has been with us for 22 years, and he shared many things with us that he has learned from experience. So we decided to record a brief interview with him and include it on this video.
So hey, I'm Kevin Beswick, Safety Director for Miller Pipeline, and I'm here with Danny Cansdale. Danny's one of our foremen from Indianapolis, and he's been with us for a long time. So wanted to get some of his knowledge, what he's learned over the years. So Danny, can you share with some of the foremen out there who might have only been with us for a couple of years? The topic is damage prevention, but what do you think the most important aspect of damage prevention is?
I would say that it's looking far enough ahead not to put yourself in a bad spot to where you're trying to catch up or getting behind, because unfortunately, if you take the time and you think your job through, get to the coordinator, inspector, and both are on the same page, you do everything that you should. You know, the locate's called in, spot everything that you can before, lay your job out. You know, there's always going to be something come up, but you know, make it as few things as possible to pop up and bite you, then you're going to be way better off in the long run.
We were talking earlier about some of the different things that you know, you've gotten into over the years. Like, for instance, when you're near a creek, you need to start thinking, you know, that you're probably going to be deeper than normal. You know, when you're working with steel, it's a little different than working with plastic. Downtown atmosphere like this is a lot different than a new subdivision. And you were talking about things like, you know, how you can tell when you're around a trench, or, you know, when you're close. Can you share some of those things, you know, that you've kind of learned over the years?
Yeah, a lot of times, you know, if you're in a new housing division or new development, it, 95% of the time that's going to be trenched in, and then you start to dig your bell holes for your claims and service. And you'll see that trench. You'll see the different color dirt. You'll see, you know, digitate. You'll be able to tell where that ground's going to disturb. So get off to the side. Get some place that's safe where you can dig down deeper, where there's curly bucket. Just keep sweeping it down, and then you'll see it. You know where it's at. You know, then when you get into an established area, you have to think: was this driveway punched with the whole hog, directional board? If I start digging, am I gonna see ditch, disturb ground, or, you know, if they punched underneath this tree, it could be 2 foot deep, or it could be 5 foot deep. So you really want to, you know, watch yourself when you get into that situation, so you don't end up damaged.
Yeah. Okay, and then just one more question, and that's: are there any other, you know, kind of tricks of the trade that you've learned over the years in addition to that you'd like to share with the new firm?
The biggest experience is, you know, the big thing. It's just using common sense. I mean, you know, if you make a mistake, that's fine. Everybody makes a mistake. But if you don't learn from your mistake, you keep making the same mistake. That's the problem. So, I mean, everybody's made mistakes. I've made more than my share. But if you learn from it, you don't put yourself in that position again, then you're better off down the road. It'll pay dividends.
All right. Okay. Thanks.
At this point, we would like to encourage each group to stop the video and share things with each other that they have learned over the years to prevent utility damage. Thank you for watching, and please work safely.